Welcome everybody to my channel. So a few days ago, actually what happened is Mark Passio was running his mouth about the things that I called him because Mark Passio loves to call people Satanist, New Agey, and all sorts of stupid, dumb, this and that. So I've dropped a few videos about Mark Passio, three or four. One, two, three, four. Actually, four videos. Okay. So in those videos, I've exposed what is everything that is wrong with Mark Passio. And Mark Passio has been creating videos for 2 years, 2+ years, 3 years maybe. He had created videos with his friend Satigas Boza, and Boza created at least 66, 67 videos so far to do all sorts of crazy things, to twist things, to cover up, to present himself as if knower of something. All the while, everything that he was doing. My mic. Okay. Sometimes it has echo, so it should not have. Okay. Yeah. So he has been creating a few videos, two, three videos, three videos at least, in which he was doing virtue signaling. So I called him out. I've been calling these people out for years, and I've called him out with a few things. Like he like to give everybody his toxic. How does he call it? Tough love, which is a narcissistic term, by the way. So I thought maybe I should return some favor because he has been giving me his shitty, toxic tough love for years now. So I started to give him some tough love. So he got really crazy after that. He started to talk with things because he's cowardly. He never says my name. He always return answer something using the things that I've said in his videos. There's another interesting angle of this thing, and see, I've been learning from Sam Vaknin about the psychology and other places as well. But Sam Vaknin, I enjoy his videos, watching his videos and the way he explains it. I think either he is watching the whole drama between me or this person. Something is going on. There's some connection between this. Sam Vaknin's, I'm pretty sure he's not going to say it directly, and I don't want to drag him into all this. I've brought this thing for a reason. So this is interesting thing. The interesting part is expert with Dunning-Kruger effect. Shoshin intellectual humility earned dogmatism. Maybe Sam Vaknin like this interesting back and forth madness that is going on for 6 years. So maybe he enjoy it because it is kind of crazy, to be honest, and it has some entertainment value. But what I've noticed from Sam Vaknin's side is he actually tried to say things correctly. I mean, he's very intelligent person. Okay, very intelligent person. Never seen any other person in my life so intelligent. And this is not for any idealization, this and that. No, no. The thing is, he created this experts with Dunning-Kruger effects. So Mark Passio dropped. Actually, what happened is 1, 2, 3, 4. I dropped these videos, and in these videos I've exposed a few things. I created these three videos beside, actually four videos beside Mark Passio's topic, and I think he has watched those videos as well. And that's why I was not talking about all these things in the past, because what these people do, no matter what you give them, they always use that as their supply. They will upload. I will show you what he does. So let me clarify one more thing. I speak Hindi. I'm from India. I'm not from America. I don't have any obligation to speak in English, any whatsoever. Okay, like in America, people need to learn English and this and that. No, I don't have any obligation to learn English here. So first of all, what is going on here is what these bums don't understand, who think that they are very intelligent and they're dumb as fuck. Mark Passio is dumb as fuck, and I will prove it in a bit. Once again, this is not a personal targeted attack onto this idiot. Although I should do it because he does this he targets people, to be honest. And these comebacks, they target every single thing in other people. Okay, so still we don't want to stoop to their level. So I'm from India. I speak English. I slip here and there. Okay. Secondly, what these comebacks, the thing that when I'm speaking in English, so what is going on with me is I understand things through my Hindi language, and the vocabulary is different, grammar is different, methods are different, the philosophy is different, point of view of looking at things is very different. So what happens with the people who can speak multiple languages or two languages at least? So they develop twice in that sense. Okay, and what these comebacks idiots do, they think that this is what I'm speaking to bridge the gap, that they bash that thing. Okay, first of all, if anything, these comebacks are, I did not see these comebacks speaking in my native language. They will mumble. So like they think that and on top of all that, it blows my mind. They actually think that they know more than me, in the sense I'm actually educated from colleges. Okay, so they actually think that they know more than everybody, and they don't see the stupidity. So without wasting much of your time, let me continue here. So Mark Passio uploaded three documentaries pulled from other people, and what he's doing here is he's trying to make these documentaries as his basis, as if these documentaries is Mark Passio, because Mark Passio is uploading something, maybe he has watched these documentaries, so it became him. Like for example, if I go to some and, pull a book from some other language, let's say Chinese, and I upload that somewhere, so that means I know Chinese and I'm practicing Chinese and I became Chinese. Okay, right? Just because I came across something and I've watched it, understood it, even let's say, so I became that. This is actually a disorder. It's called identity merge. Okay, that's very common in narcissists. So he
diplomat, author, poet, and professor emeritus at the University of Union, Borje Brandon.
and Mark Passy still thinks he's teaching me something. Okay. Anyway, and another documentary is same. Then he created another documentary where half part is documentary and half part is after uploading these
all the
things.
time.
By the way, in this documentary, they're talking about libidinal force and everything else, and Freud. So Mark Passy thinks that he has won the fight somewhere. If he can put a documentary where somebody is talking about Freud, and obviously everybody knows he was a twisted person. Okay, they don't understand, these conspiracy theorists, they don't understand how these things are, and maybe in future videos I will explain. But for now, let's focus on this thing, not Dunning-Kruger. By the way, Sam Vaknin created it for idiot Mark Passio, because in one of my videos that I uploaded, let me show you what is the connection here. Okay, probably in this video. Internet is a little bit
of interest. They hear what I have.
so here. Everybody, everybody's tired of this idiot. Even psychologists can see this thing, but he is missing the point. He's missing the point. So here is this Dunning-Kruger effect, where he is screaming at the top of his lung, abusing and harassing everybody, and at the same time playing victim.
And you're too fucking stupid to be taught.
So I believe Sam Vaknin created a video on Dunning-Kruger to address this, because this is Dunning experts with Dunning-Kruger. Okay, so yeah, this is exactly what I mean to say for so many years. Dunning-Kruger effect, where a person thinks he's an expert like Mark Passio, and he's not understanding the most basic thing that I'm trying to explain. Okay, now let's listen to this whole shit. Where did that thing go? Yeah, in this one.
Skills we need, the resources we need to move forward. It's making the education system absolutely obsolete. A fraction of a cost. You can.
Education system is becoming obsolete because there are a lot of idiots on internet who has no idea about a coherent education, who can spew. No doubt they can spew. There are a lot of tools, there are a lot of methodology. It's really late here, almost 1:30, so I'm I'm not able to speak properly. Okay, I was just laughing at this idiot. So these rednecks, wingers, idiots, they think that they have replaced education. It's really, it's cringy. Anyway, let's focus on the same stuff. I don't want to waste my time on these idiots. I cannot correct everybody. Okay. So here we have these two idiots once again. Mark Passio is watching my videos actively, okay, and he's replying like this. And I've asked him, let's have one-to-one discussion. Stop this virtue signaling. Let's do it one time on screen. He's hiding. He's watching all my videos, by the way, answering them like this in twisted, pathological way. And I've asked this person 5 years ago, 4 years ago, let's have a discussion. He decided to smear me, harass me, abuse me, attack me, and later on he tried to play victim. And he still thinks that people are attacking him. All right.
7 or 8 years ago. I have rewatched it a few times since it first came out, and
So Mark Passio is talking about the documentaries where they were talking about Freud, libidinal force, all sorts of things. And Mark Passio said that he watched it 5 years ago, 6 years ago. First of all, I've learned psychology 3 years, in 3-4 years. Okay. And I've learned basically these pathology more. I don't understand a massive chunk of psychology still. So what I've studied a lot. Don't undermine it, because when I'm explaining something, I'm explaining them honestly. And what these idiots do, they weaponize these things. They're always scanning for something that they can twist, they can turn, they can weaponize, they can attack some vulnerability, because the narcissist psychopath's mind works like this. They're always scanning some sort of vulnerability to play as if, like, Mark Passio is not a psychologist. Okay. And on top of all that, nobody heard Mark Passio to talk about these things. What was he doing? He watched all these documentaries and all stuff, and he was holding this. He's screaming at people. So it's all horseshit what these people spew. Okay. And Mark Passio is still a conspiracy theorist, by the way, because all these idiots' knowledge, this and that, it comes from conspiracy theory related documentaries somewhere. Okay, so they think that they have just cracked the code and they have understood everything, where there's a massive, massive, massive ocean, sea of knowledge that they just skipped because they have this confirmation bias thing. So they got what they wanted. So when I talk about Buddhism, I've seen a lot of idiots pull a lot of things about Buddhism. There was an idiot named Sathikas Booza was talking about Buddhism, and he tried to fit everything with nihilism. All these idiots, they either use ChatGPT or some forum from internet to bash those things instead of understanding. When you're telling these people directly what Buddhism is, they don't want to learn from you. They don't want to understand what Buddhism is. What they do is they want to show you something inferior. So they go to internet, they search on internet, there are a lot of horse shit on internet, and they find specifically something that is negative about this thing to smear that thing or to make that thing look inferior or to mock at you or something. And everything that they pull from internet is like they think that that's the absolute reality, that's absolute truth, and they use that and they think that they have defeated somehow me, and they know more Buddhism or they are more all all sorts of things. All right, they don't have the slightest clue. An idiot, another idiot, who literally asked me, they don't understand what Theravada Buddhism is, what their philosophy is. See, there are a lot of form of Buddhism in India. There's a lot of form of Hinduism in India as well. Believe it or not. Okay, and there's Indian Hinduism. There's twisted version of Indian Hinduism. And there's Western Hinduism. There are all sorts of Hinduism. All right. In the same way, there's all sorts of Buddhism. And when I'm talking about Buddhism, Hinduism, I wanted to tell these idiots that these are just philosophies, frameworks on the reality, a way to interpret things. All right. The translation can have issues here and there. The modern education that is coming from the West, they are parallel to what we had in the past. All right. Believe it or not, we had a lot of stuff in the past. Nalanda Vishwavidyalaya means Nalanda University, and there were all sorts of. We have all sorts of history that got destroyed by British. So the thing here is, right now, what is going on is imperialism, and these idiots they think that they can search a few things from internet, and that becomes the permanent. And how they validate their whole shit. This is ontologically right. All sorts of fancy words they throw around. They don't understand those things, but they make the basis of these things about that. And when I talk about my culture's ontology, that is, by the way, different from whatever the Western ontological systems have. So they don't understand. They don't understand that people who have lived. First of all, let me tell you what's going on about all sorts of all forms of educations. I don't disrespect to Western education, by the way. I have master's degree once again using the Western systems. Okay, all right. I studied in a school. Like we have Indian systems of education in India, and then we have Western systems of education in India. I've been studying in Western system of education since first grade, or even pre this kindergarten. We have here nursery, pre-nursery, this and that. So all my life I've studied things from Western system. All right, I understand damn well what's going on in the Western systems, and I have actual formal education, not some trailer education. Anyway, that's beside the point. Now this person has used these documentaries as a basis, and he's trying to re-regulate himself. I mean, let's clear one more thing here. So something I'm talking about for 6 years, And these idiots, their thick skulls, did not understand that for 6 years. And now these anyway, these people, they pull these things on internet. Maybe Mark Passio is saying that he was this documentary 6 years ago. So why did not you talk about these things 6 years ago? Anyway, let's accept it as the truth. And I've been talking about these things for 6 years, plus minus, using math systems, using Western psychology, using logic, using mathematics, physics, everything. Now, Mark Passio, according to Mark Passio, who shit in his narrative rhetoric, he still spew as if I don't know anything. I mean, he's getting all the ideas after watching my videos in a whole. And since he has watched a documentary, I actually studied these things properly. Mark Passio is still superior and I'm still dumb, according to him. So, what? Because these idiots, they think that the people who have actual formal education, they are stupid people. What these people, these trailer bonds do is, they go to these same... I did not want to disclose it, but still, I will disclose it right now. Mark Passio, when he steal these things from academic background and he start to spew these things, and all these imbeciles from the same cult who steal things from, by the way, academia and religion and present those things, when they lost in their hubris, they use these things as their background. They still don't understand that, like, they still claim that they have researched these things. Okay, and people have actually come up with these things. They are maintaining these systems, so they are inferior from these idiots' opinion. And it is opinion, it's conspiracy theory based opinion, because they don't even understand how to use these things properly. And there's this trivium, quadrivium, and all that stuff. Every country have their own ways. There's no universal way to have education, to understand things. Anyway, I will create these videos in the future, how actually mind, consciousness, that assimilate, accumulate, and utilize this information. That's a matter of future videos. But for now, let's listen to this whole shit and notice his hubris. Okay.
It's one of my favorite documentaries, the entire thing. I think it does a great job of explaining social engineering and mental influence and programming that most of the public is still unaware of.
Now, I might have missed it in that part. Do you recall where they talked about Bernays and bacon and eggs?
That it was a created, putting together of breakfast ingredients that basically they began and pushed that off to the American public, showing how they could start trends, start programming people to believe in certain things, that this is just the way things are done.
See, people get programmed because people want to be programmed. Okay.
Again, the story with the cigarettes, marketing them as liberation. It's really evidence of really how people don't have their psychological shielding raised. They're just very open to suggestion, very open to influence.
This is why Mark Passio is stealing ideas, things that I've been explaining, and using those things as a weapon against me. And like, this is not suggestibility. His mind is very strong. So why is he doing this thing right now? Why did not this person ever talk about these things in the past? Why is he spewing in all his videos, screaming at attacking people using occult garbage, Satanism? Why? Okay, ask yourself these things. I can tell you right now why is he using these things. And why is he doing this thing right now? Because this person is immature. Mark Passio is immature. All these people that I've come across, these idiots, whole shit, they are immature and they have their whole games to make other people look like they are the immature people. and they think that if they espouse something, they attack, scream on some person, that would make them look like the superior person, the mature person. When they infantilize other people using the horse shit from the internet, when they read stuff from internet fan wikis to make other people look like they are some inferior from them, actually that is the problem, not the other person ignoring, avoiding, trying to not get sucked into their horse shit, waste of time, whatever the fuck they do on internet. That's not immaturity. Actually, screaming on people is not maturity. Abusing people online is not maturity. Maturity is to let go of things. Scumbags have scammed you and you're still letting go. That is called maturity. Actually, scumbag are wasting their time. They are so lost and so entitled in their whole shit, and half of the time their entitlement is just to protect their false ego. Actually, they don't even understand what they're spewing. Okay, most of the things these people do is to regulate themselves. They want to make other people look like idiots, and things are changing slowly but surely. These idiots, these redneck right-wing scumbags, they will not stay in power forever. Trust me. For now, they are abusing everybody. They're doing all sorts of horseshit. Things will change, believe it or not. And then I want to see these idiots' faces. Okay.
And it's almost always for things that are not good for them. It's very easy for people to push people down a path that is something that is detrimental or degrading.
like Mark Passio does. This person is totally, completely disconnected and dissociated from his horseshit existence. I've seen multiple times in these idiots, mega cult, right wing, alt right wing, Mark Passio, anarchists. What they do is, what they're doing, what they're using on people, what they're abusing people with, they always say that somebody else is doing. I play this video usually.
Freedom, man.
This captures.
You just need to be nice to people.
Right? He's talking about degrade people. Listen.
To truly self-improve and help people influence.
This imbecile does not understand that you cannot make people self-improve. Grown people are not kids. These things are not one-day thing. He's wasting his time. He's wasting everybody's time. He's abusing, causing a lot of suffering in people. This idiot does not understand this one thing, that when you are younger and as you grow up, you learn things side by side. If you did not learn those things, you can pretend your whole life, you will still won't learn those things properly. That will not become part of your personality because it is missing. It has stunted, or like those things did not develop. You can pretend your whole life sitting in your room wearing this hat. He does not understand these basic things because he does not have a proper education. All he has is ego, his narcissism, his stupidity, his research, this and that, stealing tendencies from internet and making those things about himself, at the same time bashing those things. So what these people do is they steal things from original source. After stealing, they present those things as their own to glorify themselves. See how much they know. And in the same narrative, in the same sentences, where they use those things from stolen things from internet, psychology, this and that, and then they bash these things. This blows my mind. All these people, all these redneck inbreds on internet, they actually think that things that are available on internet, their daddies left those things. There's no hard efforts of people who have dedicated their lives to produce those things, to observe these things, to come up with these things. They don't have the slightest clue. Just because they can steal things, they can be immoral and unethical about those things. Maybe they understand to some levels. So those things becomes their thing. Like if I build a house, okay, I take, let's say, 1.5 year to build properly inside out, and now Mark Passius come there, and he start to live in that, and he start to tell people that, see, I have this house and I've built this. So does that mean that Mark Passius has built that house? Since he has access to that thing, does it make those things about him? So he does not understand these things like this. This is so simple thing. None of these idiots from these cults, all these idiots, they think that they are doing some research. So that thing became there now.
Help to influence people towards self-improvement is much, much more difficult because, evil, chaos, and degradation are simple. Real improvement, real education, real betterment of the self is a very difficult and lifelong process that most people shy away from and want no part of.
Yeah, and I found I haven't seen it since probably 20 years ago. So I've learned a lot since then. And the evolution that Adam Curtis is painting out, I see much more clearly. Like,
Let me clarify one more thing. Learning does not mean shit. Learning, remembering things from internet, learning things from internet does not mean anything. There are people who know less, but they are like cohesive. They're coherent. They're utilizing those things in their lives. Maybe poor people, okay, maybe those people are from village and they're functional. That is more important. Not collecting all these books and watching everybody's thought. And anyway,
the paintbrush he's using to paint everything, because if you don't know about socialism and other forms of collectivism, then you might take his critique of
none of these idiots have any idea that when I'm talking about these things, I know these things, but in Hindi. Okay, and these idiots don't understand the thing that Hindi and English, they translate properly. Like if you translate something in Hindi, it translates exactly like it should translate into perfect English. They don't have the slightest clue about any language, any culture, any ontology. They will throw around these big words, a lot of such words, and no doubt Western uh, societies do have, they function like that. I agree to that part. But these people are totally and completely blind toward other people's background, culture, anything. At the same time, they're entitled about those things. They think that whatever the whole shit they know about those cultures, their twisted brain ideas, their stupid screenshot that they have taken, they think that that's the reality of those cultures. Now, I exist. I'm speaking in English, and I'm explaining to you these concepts that are foreign to me, by the way. But the, how these things are like structured in the West, that is foreign to me. Like for example, there exist a lot of Western last names. I will have difficulty to pronounce those names, okay, because there are a lot of mixed mess in the West with these names. So does that mean that we don't have last name and we don't know the concept of last name? So these imbeciles, these vultures, these parasites, what they do is they scan constantly. How why they don't never understand these things? Because they always scan for vulnerabilities in other people, and they usually find those vulnerabilities in people with other cultures because like when you are multilingual, so you have these gaps, okay, that you don't mean it like that, and they think that this person is idiot because they don't have the empty head that is full of air, does not understand that other person has much more complex and developed system. That's why he's able to speak in two different languages. Okay, and then language is one thing. Like for example, if I go to Britain, I go to America, I go to Australia, Ireland, this and that, they all have the same language background, cultural background. So it will be very easy for these people, easier comparatively, to adapt one another's atmosphere, environment. All right. But if you go to some other continent, let's say if you go to China or somewhere, and let's go back a few years, 2 decades ago, so it will be very difficult for you to naturalize, to be like adapt those things. All right. So these idiots, they don't understand these things. They're lost in these things. Now what I had to do is I had to do triple, 4 times, 5 times work to make these imbeciles understand these things. When I'm speaking in English, a lot of people don't connect this thing and they think maybe something is. That's why. Because I am doing all the work. All these comebacks are doing, they're spewing their whole shit. And they think that they are more intelligent. They know everything, they understand everything. Alright.
Woodrow Wilson to be very similar to like libertarian philosophy, or a lot of people, in America don't like. So if you don't have the history to understand it, it's a very compelling documentary, and his perspectives become your perspectives. However, it became more evident to me now that the evolution of like Gustav Le Bon's level of mass mind control, the crowd, evolving through Sigmund Freud into Bernays, into Jacques Ellul. I couldn't find my Bernays book, but
So what Mark Passio is trying to say is that since Freud, he has this history, it is known, well known by the way. Go to Sam Vaknin's channel and Sam Vaknin will tell you all about how he was a fraud and how he plagiarized other people's work and everything else. That does not mean that he did not contribute. Okay, and these idiots, these wannabe anarchists, these they think that they actually understood things. They think that everything is conspiracy. They don't understand how things develop. Obviously, there exist a lot of people right now. Let's take the example of Donald Trump. He's a president, so he should be ideal. He should be picture perfect. Everybody should be picture perfect. Everybody should be perfect. All right. So then they are satisfied. If they are not perfect, so they think that that is some conspiracy. There's something going. Their paranoia triggers because these vultures, they are constantly scanning, and they find those things. They find humanly vulnerabilities. They find humanly imperfection, and where they find those imperfection, their madness, they focus their madness onto that. So yeah.
I found Jacques Ellul, led into the cybernetics and the AI that is encompassing today, because there was a quote in there. They were going to create a new elite to manage the herd.
Exactly.
That elite was like Peter Thiel and these other guys who brought AI.
I will talk about AI. Maybe I know more than a lot of people, to be honest. I've realized that this thing that a lot of people, they don't understand about what AI is. I mean, they understand, they have an idea, general idea about this thing. See, the volume of AI is massive. It is huge, and it is complicated, intricate system of neural things and neural networks, and it can simulate a lot of states. It can produce a lot of simultaneous results and this and that. That's the volume is massive, but the idea, the concept of AI is, it can be understood by human mind, and the principles can be understood So I think maybe I have some handle on that thing. First of all, AI is not going to be limited to large language models. Right now, people think that AI means LLMs. They're making a big mistake. Even still today, there exists AI that is available to everybody. It's actually an interface. Okay, and then there's different compartmentalization in this. What AI is human mind as an external object. The whole uh, being of human. Yeah, these things are really dark, and I will discuss about in some other time. Let's focus on this thing. And these idiots, the thing that they've understood everything.
AI
That's
proxies.
yeah.
Go ahead.
That's the technotronic era that we're in now. That's the elite technocrats that want to control everybody's mind through technology, and they're well on their way to doing it. And again, the people are just still very unaware, very naive, very unaccepting to really acknowledge their own programming. I talk a lot about
He's still spewing about me, by the way.
in my lectures and presentations how much of your likes, dislikes, preferences, behaviors are programmed into you, and you don't want to even recognize that those aren't your own choices. Those are programming techniques that you've fallen for in your weakness. And people get very, very, very upset when you say things like that to them because they want to believe everything about their personality was
Mark Passio thinks the whole world is like the word, the universe that exists, the existence of universe, the physical laws, everything else, they're coming out of some satanists somewhere. Okay, Mark Passio has this understanding on reality. He does not understand that reality exists as an independent entity, and what these satanists and whoever the hell that exists that he spews, they have merely developed a framework on this. So no matter how many times you are going to tell this comeback, what is the problem with these comeback is they do this on purpose. That's how they extract things. For right now that I don't have these things published, so people will steal it, but they will still stay fragmented, so they will still use these things and destroy themselves and others, to be honest. So that's why I don't tell these things probably. Avoid getting into this petty whatever the whole shit these people do. Okay, anyway, I want to show Mark Passio that how stupid he is, because he has been running his mouth for years, and I've been ignoring these idiots, thinking that maybe they are illiterate, maybe they don't understand most basic things, maybe they don't have manners. They spew about morality ethics. Never seen any morality and ethics in these idiots. Mark Passio, he spews about these things more and more and more. I've asked this person multiple times that your friend is a psychopath. He's scamming people. He's attacking people. You are protecting him. Let's have discussion about that thing. So he never talks about those things. Mark Passio will never talk about things where he's wrong. He will always try to find something, some loophole, some vulnerability, something, and then again he's deluded himself. He thinks that whatever the hell he can project through his stupid weak mind onto other people, that becomes those people's reality, and then he bash that object, that internal object, the thing that he's lacking in himself, that he hate him in himself, or he envy in others, and that then he delude himself and all his cult members, the thing that became the reality of those people. And those people, they never let those people talk. They never have the one-to-one discussion. So if those things never get logged, these idiots, they spread, and they do it on purpose, by the way. So they don't think, just people, they are not being as petty as these comebacks. They are not arguing. They can see that there's something very wrong with these people, and they're avoiding them. That gives them some sort of sadistic supply. They think that they are winning. They think that they're superior, they are dominating, they're better, something. Okay.
Their decision making processes in effect in their lives. And the answer really is, the truth of the matter really is, no, it was not. It was other people's manipulation and programming of you, and you not understanding yourself well enough to understand how these people got into psychological back doors, and and did the programming for you to make you think this is what you want in life, this is what you really truly desire.
Like Mark Passio does. Mark Passio does exactly the same things. He never sees his things. Let's say they exist Satanists, let's say whatever the hell he's spewing, they are doing it. And what most people don't see when Mark Passio spew this thing, they don't see that Mark Passio also is doing the same things. So people get lost when he's talking about other people, these people, these people. They don't see that Mark Passio is also doing these things. There are videos available online from his own channel, so they cannot make that connection because they are hearing this thing first time, and he whatever the whole shit Mark Passio is spewing, they think that's the absolute reality and the truth. And when I'm saying Mark Passio, I'm addressing most of the members of Mark Passio's cult, one great bomb network. They're all doing this thing. They think they've declared themselves that they are superior, better, knower. They're people in his cult who cannot even spell their name properly. They're like Sethikas Boza. He does not know how to distinguish between WASTE and WAIST. And these people claim to be better than the whole world, better than the academia. Okay. These things are so hilarious to me. Just you have no idea how much I laugh at these idiots.
So much of what people think, believe, and their behaviors every single day come out of technological programming that reached them through some form of technology, whether it was written word, whether it was spoken word, whether it was the mainstream media, newspapers, television, magazines, etc.
Like Mark Passio is programmed by all the occultic garbage he has collected over the years from internet by reading those words. Like his head is full of all those things.
And those people leveraged that technology. They understood that they were deliberately trying to create a sensate society based on feeling, not knowledge, to create obedient workers, not a truly informed citizenry, and to make people all programmed according to sensate desires.
That's actually the agenda. He did not listen to what Elon Musk was talking about a few years ago when he was promoting his Neuralink garbage. Limbic brain, limbic system, limbic this and that. Okay. So what they are trying to do is, as far as I've understood, decoded Elon Musk garbage, they're removing neocortex, this frontal lobe. So we have this reptilian brain, okay, amygdala or cerebrum, how do you call it? And then we have this this part is very old, ancient, okay, reptilian brain, the survival brain, the brain stem. Right above this, we call it chota dimag in Hindi. And then we have this frontal lobes, prefrontal, how you call it. These are more advanced, more complex things. So when you are in fight and flight, the survival mode, this brain is activated. When you are doing deep research, deep thinking, this brain is working. Okay, there are other ways to define these things, but what these people are doing, Elon Musk, if you listen to his horror of Neuralink, he says that he can turn on and off people. Like people, there's night and people want to sleep, so he can just switch off them. And in the morning, he can switch on it, the people he's talking about. And they will not remember anything. what happened to them in the night. And he was promoting it as if the greatest thing. And then he said that we want the limbic brain. We don't want anything else. So this is going to happen in the future when Neuralink and all these things will become reality. Okay, they don't want you to think because they will take away the capacity of people, and they have already impaired people's. They have damaged people's a lot of things.
Was going on through Bernays and other, social engineers and technocrats. And today, I think it's gotten a lot worse. I think we haven't improved as a species. We haven't learned these techniques. We haven't understood these people's mindset. We haven't understood who's really directing them. Even though bits and pieces and hints are starting to come out into mainstream society a little bit more, but people still aren't really aware of these people's ideology. They're not aware of their techniques and methods of.
I've understood a lot of things, to be honest. A lot of people also understand these things. So what they're trying to do is how control mechanism is possible, if it is possible at all. And I was working on this problem since I was very young, since childhood, trust me. So you cannot control anybody. Like, for example, if something exists in the world, something is physically in existence or logically even, so they just don't exist out of nowhere. It's never the possibility. Even if you sow a seed into the ground and you think that this seed has created and it is coming out of nowhere, actually it is assimilating a lot of things from the environment, and then there are a lot of conditions for it to exist, and then it grows. In the same way, all these things are based with something. The problem here is human mind cannot process all these things. All right, so these things are property things that are allowed in the universe. Like, for example, at this time, black hole is not allowed on Earth. It's a property of Earth. The black hole is not allowed. But there are conditions where these things are allowed. There will be a time where this thing can be a thing of Earth as well. So these things, although they sound so random and far-fetched in this and that, there's a method to it. There's a pattern to it. Okay, and not everything he spews that these people, everything is not weaponized. A lot of things, what actually truly happened is there were things that were happening for the betterment of humanity. Not everything how Mark Passio says is true. And there was these rich assholes who were literally, like, for example, right now, Epstein. If you look into Epstein's files, and not just official, there are things that conspiracy theorists they also expose. That's less credible, but still, this always this pattern. The greater Israel. Okay, so what happened is the idiotic people who are absolutely idiotic. So what they have done is they have hijacked these things, these properties that exist naturally, and now they are running those properties through the shared fantasy, through the delusion of these imbeciles. Like Donald Trump is one of them. So Donald Trump, he thinks, he one day thought that he will go to somewhere and he will start fighting. In his deluded head, he thinks that everything that he does is it has starting, ending, this and that, according to that. He does not understand the concept of other people, their autonomy, the agency, the boundaries, nothing. One day he will go there and he thinks that things will go according to him. Just because he's a narcissistic psychopath, he thinks that he can control everything. He will start a war, he will end a war, and people will play with him. Like, he will kill somebody's country's, he will abduct some country's prime minister, president somewhere, and those people will go according to his fantasy. So in the same way, these people, they also have fantasies. Trust me, a lot of Israel people, they are living in fantasies, delusions, delusion of grandiosity, American, all these things. Okay, people have a lot of disorders, issues. They cannot discern between what is real, what is not real, what is fantasy, what is unhealthy. No, when and then again, they are psychopaths. Psychopaths are goal oriented. Listen, go watch Sam Vaknin's video. They're goal oriented and they don't see anything else. When something is between the goal, they want to eliminate that thing, and they don't even register those things. So all these people, everything else that exists beside these psychopathy, they're not even seeing that. They don't even think that these people have any life. That's why they have this narrative of Goe, or how do you call it? Gentile Goe, whatever the fuck they spew. Okay, that's what they have. When you want to see somebody's people get into hatred too quickly. They don't want to understand what the dynamics of these things are. And they always base their things about hatred. Like, for example, a lot of people hate Nazis for the right reasons. And a lot of people hate these from people from Israel. Okay, so they automatically think that if people from Israel, they are crazy, so Nazis were right. Whatever the whole shit they did, it was right, or vice versa. But they don't understand that there's a healthy way and there's an unhealthy way. You don't have to idolize who was right, who was wrong. Why not live in a healthy way? And that's what Buddhists talk about. That's what I talk about. These people, they want you to pick a side. Mark Passio thinks that Satanists know everything. They have the absolute power on the reality. And whatever the whole shit he has heard, that is the reality of the whole world. When that's not the case. And I've been telling this scumbag, these thick-skulled losers, to be honest, from 6 years, that healthy life, they exist, these Satanists, they host shit, they plans, everything else, and then there exists a healthy life. They've gone insane, they've gone unhealthy, they've gone mentally ill. Rest of the people do not have to be mentally ill because of their host shit. He does not understand this thing. Okay. Anyway, let's listen to this host shit. I'm doing this one last time. Okay.
Manipulation. I hear people in the alternative media all the time saying, oh, everybody knows who's running the world. And I don't agree. I don't see that everybody, quote unquote, is aware of it. I see a tiny, tiny little minuscule sample of human beings that are.
See, I will say a very contrary thing, and a lot of people think that maybe I'm part of something. The whole world always existed and it always worked like this because everybody cannot be rich. Okay, everybody cannot be rich, same rich. Everybody cannot be Bill Gates. Everybody cannot be your Zuckerberg or Elon Musk. There will be always few by just design. If you look into the system of money, capitalism, this and that, how the system is designed, it is designed in this way. Okay, so automatically it will be always be like this. Always. You think that if everybody became as rich as, let's say, Elon Musk, because he's richest of all, so would that money mean anything? No. Okay, so the system is designed this way. And who designed this? American. And if somebody else tells them this thing, that capitalism is a problem, what America is doing, you commie bastard, you socialist. People have said this thing to me just by explaining this thing. I don't subscribe to any communism or anything, by the way. So these idiots, they don't see, they don't understand these basic things.
just becoming a little bit more aware of it. And the vast overwhelming majority of the human herd is just completely clueless. And that has to change. And the only way that's going to change is if more people educate people about these kinds of mental manipulation and programming techniques. And
when people try to explain these things, Mark Passio attacked them. He abused them. He harassed them. He called them names. He spew his whole shit onto them because he thinks that people know more than him. He get jealous. Okay, he get narcissistic injury when you prove this person is wrong. And not just him, his whole cult attacks you. His whole cult want to erase you out of the face of the earth.
we really make it a mainstream topic of discussion in people's lives.
Yeah, I think it was Alan Dulles. It was a hard quote to track down, and it's in the minutiae of the literature for the Warren Commission report. But he said,
What the fuck Mark Passio does? It's not possible. Okay, you can explain to people, but you cannot get a specific result. That's delusion, that's fantasy. These people, they lack the most basic things of anything. Human mind, reality, whatever the fuck they spew. They pretend to know, they pretend to spew onto people in front of camera, and they use to bash people. They lack every single thing. Anyway, it's really late here. I should stop here. I will make another part in the morning or at some other time. I've played 144 minutes. I did not play the whole scene, but there's only documentary, this and that, advertisement, this and that. So, yeah, he's doing this thing, virtue signaling toward me, that he knows he's very intelligent, and in his deluded head, he still thinks that he's teaching me something, or he knows better than me, or he's competing, or something. Ask Mark Passio. If you don't believe me, go ask Mark Passio ask him why did he put these things now when I created those videos, and see what he's going to say. Is he going to lie about it? Okay. Is he going to call me some name? Notice that. Yeah, let's stop. Thanks so much.